Well, shall we wait or shall we start, sir?
Sir, please wait, sir. I wish to give the introduction addresses and then I will hand it over the session to you and then you will start.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Uh, Hello? Ah, that not problem. Ah, one minute. Question over. Start பண்ணலாமா? Sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Sir, can now I will start, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, sir, carry on.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. Respected our beloved chief guest, Dr.C.V.Suresh Babu, members of the faculty of our Department of Commerce, Vels University, research scholars, and my dear boarding students, good morning, everybody. Every semester wise, we conduct the seminar, workshop, and webinars due to the betterment of the students. In this regard, already we have conducted so many webinars, workshops in previous periods for this academic year. So in this semester, we wish to conduct this workshop to my students due to my betterment of my students. The following outstanding title, that is a corporate social responsibility. And, actually, it is one of the outstanding chapter we have in our business environment. This chapter, this business environment paper is one of the core paper to my students for the next semester. So we theoretically we have known, that means students known and members of the faculties also to know in a theoretically what is the corporate social responsibility, how it is, how that means how many that means shareholders, wholesalers, and then society peoples and government and autonomous body, they're all how they enjoy some privileges through the corporate social responsibility. In practically, we wish to know, particularly in practically, we wish to know to our students. So due to the betterment of the students, I conduct this webinar. We expect some practical output from from you, sir. So for this purpose, we conduct this corporate social responsibilities webinar. So in this regard, for this purpose of the giving the corporate social responsibility speech, outstanding PowerPoint presentation which is given by Dr. C.V.Suresh Babu, he is presented here. Firstly, I wish to give this some outstanding, that means qualification, the experience of the C.V. Babu, the following different aspects I wish to know, I wish to give to all of you. Actually, our Suresh Babu is not a professor only. He is a professor, advisor, associate editor, reviewer, and so many and also you act as a so many consultant also. Now he act as a head content of the development and academic advisors also. It is my greatest pleasure in welcoming all the department faculties in this webinar and organize this event in a planned manner. On behalf of a Department of Commerce, I cordially welcome you, sir. And another one, a milestone in Suresh Babu's career. He is a pioneer of the content development, a true entrepreneur. He has also ventured into SB Institute of Center for Knowledge Transfer. He is the founder of the Well Done Projects Management Consultancy. He is an author of more than several books. He has written the computer science books, management, engineering, and education. These different fields. He has written so many books. He has conducted a number of the technical workshops, guided the, and also he has given the guided to the number of the students and research scholars also. So, in simply I say, our beloved Chief Professor Dr.C.V.Suresh Babu is a well-versed in the art of the following different fields, such as computer science, management, okay, computer science, management, and then is that means that and the management, engineering, education, and all the aspects. Because he has written so many books in this field. So, on behalf of Department of Commerce and Wales Educational Institute, Wales University, in personally, I cordially welcome to you, sir. Now we expect from you the corporate social responsibility, how it is useful to the society, government, shareholders, members, and all. In practically, we wish to know. We expect your valuable presentations now. So finally, I don't waste your much time, sir. Now I handed over this session to all of you, to you, for a commencement of the PowerPoint presentations to my darling students. And finally, I request to all the participants and my darling students to give the cooperation to coordination for this webinar to achieve the grand success. Thank you, Murad. Now you can to commence your presentation, sir. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the warm welcome. I like to thank Wales Institution for invited me for this presentation. It's a really a privilege for me to give the presentation for this Wales Institution. I've been doing a lot of programs. This is the first program for me for the Wales group of institution, and thanks for the Commerce Department, the head of department, especially Shanti Madam, who coordinated and made this event. Okay, thank you very much. I hope directly I just move on to the presentation part. Let me briefly introduce what exactly I'm going to talk for the next 40-45 minutes. Let me share my presentation and check whether it is available. You can able to see it. Okay, people can able to see this presentation over
Yes,
here.
sir.
Okay, fine. Uh, right, let me move on to this. I'll brief you what exactly I'm going to talk. If you're expecting me to talk about your syllabus, no, I'm not going to talk about your syllabus because that's going to be part of your curriculum and you're going to see that in a theoretical manner. And the CSR is one. It is a order of the day, especially in a corporate world. I'm going to get into those aspects, give us a little bit of introduction, and then I will move on to the practical aspects of a CSR. And people, I hope you can hear me and you can see this presentation visually correct. Suppose something goes wrong, maybe because we are been in the pandemic mode and we have been using this technology a lot, and technology sometimes doesn't cooperate with us. In case we have any issues, let me voice or visual issues or any network issues, please let me know immediately so that I can stop and make the address the issues and come back. Hope you people are with me? Guys, can you able to then and
Yes, sir.
now
Yes,
just
sir.
I want to get a feedback whether it is able to hear you people like hear and see me.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Let me go into this one. I hope before that, let me have some feedback from your participant side. Participants are right now, you are a first year and second year students, right? Sir, can
Yes,
you
sir.
brief me about the participants so that I can go with them?
Sir, the 100 BCom students are studying in a first BCom, sir. So
Okay,
they
sir.
now they are all participating. They are all now we are observing your presentations.
Fine, fine. Now, so these first BCom students, they have CSR only in the second year, right?
A second semester they have, sir. This
Second
paper
semester. Okay. So
they have.
they are going to take up that course by the second semester. And people,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going, okay, thank you very much, sir. People, I'm just going
And then
to
and then
introduce,
another one, sir. Another
yes,
one.
sir.
There are a few research scholars are pursuing the PhD under my guidance in
Okay.
CSR
Oh, that's
in a
wonderful.
different aspect.
So,
Yes, sir.
uh,
They are also
okay,
observing.
especially I'm just looking forward from this no scholars side because they are right now doing a lot of research on that part. And here, this is one hot topic, and maybe we will spend last 10 minutes on the QA part, and especially these scholars and as well as the enthusiastic student, you can come out with all your doubt. And it's not that I'm going to clear all your doubt. At least we can address certain issues because there are huge ocean of research problems are there in CSR in the current scenario, especially in the pandemic as well as this COVID situation. We have a huge amount of CSR initiatives are there, and we will be discussing that in case if you have any specific doubts at the last Q&A session. Okay, thank you. Let me move on to that. Now, having said that, CSR is a kind of need of the day. It's not a subject. It is a part of organization now. You cannot skip out of the CSR for many reasons, and we are going to see how it's going to help you. Let me move on to the slide. I just changed the slide, whether you can able to see the slide because sometimes the slides get stuck somewhere. I moved on to the second slide. Can you able to see the slide? That's about what? Yeah, anyone please respond so that I can get a feedback, immediate feedback, and I'll move on. I just moved on to my second slide. Can you able to see the slide? Slide has changed or what? Guys, any one of you please give me a response.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, thank you. Please, anyone be no active so that I get some response and move on, because in this mode, in this online mode, it's very difficult to get your feedback, and feedback is very important to know whether we are there in a correct track. Okay, technically as well as subject wise. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Now I'll give with an introduction and move on. This is a usual definition which you can get it in a different form at a different place. In CSR, corporate social responsibility, is a company's commitment to manage the social, environmental, and economic effects of its operation responsibly and in line with the public expectation. It seems to be a little bit of sentence framed. The idea is today the organizations are not only you have to focus on the profit. Beyond that, they have to take some responsible social responsible. These organizations generally we put under the category of corporate. They used to take some social responsible because this is a place where they have to give back something to the society. Hope you get it. Now, it is a part of company's approach to corporate governance and often touches every part of the business. It's not only the kind of service sector alone. Anywhere, any department, any part of the business, it has its own role to play in CSR. It can be in a form of operations. It can be in the form of human resource, manufacturing, supply chain, health, safety, and whatnot. Any department is there. Every department has its role to have a role to play an active role in a CSR activities. Now, having said that, I'll just move on to the next thing. See, as I told you before, I'm slowly getting into the practical aspects of CSR, what is happening at present in this industry sector. Students, we will be focusing on our next 30 minutes. We'll be talking about the CSR and practical aspects. Some of the case studies are going to take. But what I was expecting from you is at the last, we will be spending some time on the Q&A session where we will be discussing more initiatives which has been happening, and you can also come out with your own idea about those initiatives, and we'll discuss about their hidden agendas also. Now, what are the basic activities, CSR activities, the people, the corporates used to take? When I say corporates, any big companies, we call them as a corporates. But again, we define a company with a normal enterprise. It has some kind of a barrier. Of course, you guys, being a commerce guys, you know where the enterprise ends and where the corporates begins. And here we are going to talk about those corporate activities, CSR activities of those corporates. It may include not only to this point, it may include the following things. Company policies that insist on working with partners who follow ethical business practices. It's not alone the company can do it. They have to partner with somebody else. Say, for example, let me take Infosys. Infosys is a company, it cannot do all by itself. We'll partner with an educational institute. Normally, we are going to discuss all those things in the coming slides. And say, for example, Infosys has some kind of partnership with IITs to do some kind of a CSR activities. So a company cannot do by itself. It has to have a partner with another entity which does some kind of ethical business practices. I quote on this word ethical. That's important. It's not only money making companies. It's that they have some kind of a value towards the society. Now, reinvesting profits in health and safety or environmental programs. Investing, we all know. What is the reinvesting? You invest, and again you get the profit out of it, and reinvest the profit. Whatever things you get as a profit, again you put back to the society. In what are the major sectors? One is about health. Today we can see many organizations, they're focusing on health. Say, for example, let's move on to the Cancer Institute somewhere in Adaya. You can see it's an institution, and there are a lot of corporates have been backboning those institutions. Especially since we are talking about health, and we are going to talk about the health in detail, because right now in this last 2 years of a pandemic, there are too much of money has been pumped in from the corporate to the COVID issues. And of course, the safety or environmental programs. Environmental programs today we can see many. Say, let me take an example. There are some companies, corporates, they adopt a village. The complete village, they adopt it, and they take care of that one. That's one kind. The other one is environmental. Adopting a pond, adopting a lake, cleaning the river. It can be anything. No, they all take it. Of course, the safety measures. The third point is supporting charitable organizations in the communities where a company operates. Say, for example, there is a company. Let me take L&T is a company over here in Chennai. They take in some kind of a community organization. They adopt a community organization. Say, for example, let me take in a kind of spastic society. Spastic society is a community organization meant only for this spastic child. A child with all those, what we call as a special child. So the company which gives a lot of inputs for that society in turn, because they cannot go and set up a new society, spastic society kind of stuff. Instead of that, they go and support them. So that's one kind of a charitable. It's not only about, even there are charitable organizations. Some organizations supports for education for women and hold women, elder people, senior citizens. So a lot of communities are there, and all these communities have been somewhere supported by some organizations, corporates. Then promoting equal opportunities for men and women at the executive level. That's one important thing within the corporates. It's not most probably most of the corporates are initially was men dominated. Now slowly and things, women are getting equal opportunity at the executive level. Then the next point is some aspect of CSR may be required by law. Law takes into account over here. For example, banks and hospitals are legally required to protect people's private information. Others are voluntary. I hope you understand. The banks by themselves, they have some kind of a social responsibility. Hospital, say for example, you go and get a treatment for the hospital. The hospitals are eligible to maintain your personal record. They are not supposed to share with anybody. Even for the banks, if you go and do all kind of banking transactions, they are not supposed. That's why people still rely on the public banks, even though a lot of private banks are there, because that data security at the bank level, it's very in a question mark. Now, let's go into the next part. I hope you guys are there with me. I'm a little bit quick because I have to cover a lot of things in the next 45 minutes. I hope you people are with me. Any technical glitch over here, please inform me. Any, I just want a quick response from somebody else here. Shall I move? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, need for CSR. Now, okay, all these things are okay. We saw what is CSR and what are the different activities have been done in the names of CSR. But the question is, why do we want to go for CSR? Because companies are meant for making profits. And what is the purpose for them to go for doing a charitable trust over there? Their motto is something else. Their motto is about expanding the company, going beyond the boundaries, increasing their profit. All those things are okay. But why do you want to go for a CSR? There are certain specific reasons. Let me go tell one by one. To fulfill long-run self-interest of the organization. Every organization has some some interest, self-interest. In the next slide, we are going to talk about hidden agenda. But every organization, they want to have a sustainability, running the organization for a long time. For that, you have to take care of your surroundings. You have to take care of your people. You have to take care of your environment. You have to take care of your country, because you are part of it. If you want to sustain, you have to take care of them. Just like a head of the family caring of his family, because without family is nothing. Even though he is the only earning person, he are feeding his family to make sure that he runs for a longer time. Now, next point, let me go ahead to establish a better public image. It's a brand building. Brand building is a separate topic by itself. Maybe in a higher semester, you'll be studying that one. To establish a better public image, in the sense, in the public, you create an image for it. And I'm going to talk about some examples over there, how the organizations have developed their public image by doing the CSR. To avoid misuse of resources. That's the important thing. This is about our operation management. There are huge amount of resources that are there. That CSR makes sure that every resource has been effectively and efficiently used. Because somewhere it had gone for some kind of a purpose. You are not misusing, or you are not wasting it. It is being used somewhere for somebody else. To minimize the environmental damage. Today we talk about global warming. Today we talk about flood. Today we talk about tsunami. A lot of things we talk about the environmental damages, especially plastics. Today we are too much concerned about plastic, and all the corporates are already started banning using usage of the plastics. We all know what is the problems it's create for the environment. I'm not going to touch about that one. Our focus is going to see what is the need for CSR. Then, for economic and social welfare of the community. As I told you before, you should take care of your community. Unless and otherwise they are good, you cannot sustain the community. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to the next important topic about what is CSR. Here is, what are the different types of CSR we do here. Okay, what is the different types over here? First thing is philanthropic responsibility. That means giving something good, giving money, giving some service for the public. It is kind of donation. That's concept of philanthropic society. We call it as PR. Now that makes you to be a good citizen. It's need not be you be a corporate. You just go and suppose you pass on the road, you find somebody hungry, you just give 10 rupees to them. There is some kind of a social responsibility is there. Yes, it's a beyond you be happy by giving. Again, there is a purpose for that. You have an ethical responsibility because you get a lot of things from the nature. You give have to back to the nature. That's why, say for example, normally we Indians, especially Tamilians, we used to have a festivals for having these responsibilities. You know what I'm talking about. We are going ahead of you. Pongal celebration. Pongal celebration is something, a kind of a thing. We have an ethical responsibility, giving back to the society, giving back to the agriculture, giving back to the cattle, because we have been getting a lot of things out of them for the entire year. That's 1 2 day we celebrate. Is a big festival. We have a legal responsibility to be. Let's take an example of crossing a road. How many of you we cross the road? So there are some kind of laws have been imposed as to obey the law, to make sure that because something goes wrong in the road, it's not only affects you, it also affects somebody else. So again, it becomes as a social responsible. And the last and bigger one is about the economic responsible. Of course, you should be profitable. The organization, the corporate should be more profitable. The reason is unless and otherwise they are profit, they cannot give back to the society. Make sure that every corporate should be profitable. Then only they can give back. If you are running in a loss, nobody will be interested in giving back to the society. So that is a different categories of CSR actor types. It falls out. Guys, I hope you all understand these basic things, because these are some of the basics and fundamentals what you people are going to learn in your second semester. It's going to be carried with 5 different units, and every unit is to talk about different aspects of CSR. But from this slide onwards, we are going to move from theory to practicals. The practice, more than the practicals, what has been practiced in the CSR format. Now I'll just have a small pass over here. Guys, I hope you people are comfortable and you have an idea about what is CSR and why that is need for the CSR, and what are the different activities CSR does, and what are the different types of CSR. Hope you guys got it. I just want a quick feedback. Somebody who just come back and say, you got it, or still you have any problem, because at this point I'll just move from theory to practice. Any of you can give a quick feedback whether you are with me. It is becoming a practice for me to get your feedback, especially in this online mode, to make sure that you people are there.
Sir, you are giving several responsibility, ethical responsibility, legal responsibilities, and economic responsibility.
Thank you, sir. Let me move on to the next part. So I'm just going to move from the theory part. Anyway, all these theoretical things you're going to study for your university exam for the next semester, entire semester. Now this point, I'm just going to move from the theoretical aspect from the practical aspect. That's how things are get practiced in the different corporates. Now, we all know why it is needed. Now, the growing importance of social responsibility in business. Corporate, when I say corporate, it's ultimately end of the day, it is business. The primary business of the corporate is doing business. Okay. So for them, that's primary. But social responsibility is getting more importance in the business. Business is about making money. But now, in today's world, in practice, today this SR, so-called social responsibility, is getting more and more focused in business. To survey in business, you have to be so much aware of your social responsibility. Let's go one by one. Social responsibility, CSR, can help you attract and retain employees. Let me take some couple of companies. According to the current data, off record and on record, the most valuable corporate in India is Tata's. Tata is the one important company which focus more on social responsibilities. Now let's see what does Tata gets out of it by doing CSR. What it gets back. I'm just taking some examples and more on. I hope you guys would have heard about Tata's and Ratan Tata and his contribution to the society. Huge contribution. A lot of things have been on the record, and there are many, many more or things on off the record. They won't tell publicly, but still Tatas are doing a lot of things. One thing is what they're getting out of it. It can help you attract and retain employees. Suppose there is an opening in Tata, people prefer to select Tata. You know why? Because they already created that kind of an image by going to the CSR. Not only attract new employees and retaining the employees is a very important part. You know, HR people are facing hell of a problem of retaining their existing employees. And Tata is one company, they are given a low attrition rate. When I say attrition, it's nothing but leaving the companies. It shows a low attrition rates. People hardly leave the Tata groups because more than the salary what they get, they are so much emotionally attached to the company. That's one thing they get. I just picked the example of Tata because I want you people to visualize what I'm trying to say. Number two, can improve customers' perception of your brand. Think about any company. Immediately when you see the word Tata, that automatically attracts the customer. You know, that kind of a brand it is created. It's not only by doing business, by giving back to the society. Let's take an example. There is one more company called Reliance here, and there is one more company called Tata. Suppose if you get an opportunity to go and join the company, or you want to get an opportunity to go and get a product from that for two different brand, which one you prefer? Obviously, you fall for Tata because of its a brand, because of its ethical values. So I'm not talking about telling about Reliance is bad or Tata is good. It's not about that one. It is about the brand what they built, the extra bit what they built. Of course, today even Reliance also understand the role. But today they also started pumping money on its CSR activities. We are going to talk those things later. Now, third important thing is it shows a sign of accountability to his investors. When I say investors, being a commerce people, you'll be slowly learning about your IPOs somewhere in your IS semester. IPOs and stakes and share market brokerage, all kind of stuff you are going to see at the later stage. Everybody who invests, whether it's an individual or a company, they all invest in Tata shares. And people prefer to invest in Tata shares because they already shown their accountability over there. Coming to the next important point, saves money. How do you save money here? Being a CSR, it's a spending activity. How do you going to save money? Let me tell you guys, there are some kind of hidden agenda was there. We'll be discussing that one also. Here, they are going to save money in the sense instead of wasting in a certain unwanted things, they will put money over here. It goes for a purpose that gives a value addition to the money, but saves the money is instead of giving a tax, instead of giving a lot of other kind of activities, they directly put over here. And when you spend on CSR, there is a lot of tax reductions are there. Then can enable you to better engage with customers. You have a close relationship with the customers because sometimes customers also be a part of it. Let me tell you with an example. So that you would have seen a lot of advertisement there for this particular cause they are promoting this product. People you directly cannot support the cause. You can go and buy the product. These lot of advertisement would have come over there. No, for supporting a girl child, supporting a autism child, supporting old age people, supporting Kargil war refugees, supporting some Tamil refugees, and all these things. They used to conduct some programs, or they used to promote certain products. That way, you're going to save a lot of money. People come and buy those products in a premium that because this cost is going for some purpose. Now, having said that, with the info, why people go with CSR with their business, and these are the couple of reasons. Now, let's see the scenes behind it, CSR, the reason behind it. There are good reasons. Of course, there are also some hidden agenda for every corporate. Whether you like it or not, they will opt for it. Whether they are so much responsible for society or not, but still people opt for CSR because there are certain hidden agenda for it. Let's see what are those things. The interesting thing about CSR is that to do a good business, social and civic responsibility is indispensable. If ignored, the CSR, companies will not be able to achieve evergreen. I don't know whether you got this point or not. You know what? If you want to sustain forever, you have to do the CSR. If you are not doing a CSR, you'll be considered as a selfish company, and for the long run, you cannot sustain. That's a one important point. Why do we have the CSR? Now, how companies spend money on CSR? I'm talking about the practical aspects. There are huge amount of monies will be there in these corporates, and they will be sitting in a different category, and how they spend it. Large companies are spending their CSR money on a variety of activities. Most of them have their own foundations or trust through which these programs are implemented. Let me call upon few names over there. Infosys, they have their own foundations. Tata Sons, they have their own foundation. Trust they have. And Azim Premji Foundation, I don't know how many of you really heard about this term. It's very big foundation. It was being coined by Wipro. Then it is also observed that quite a few companies have contributed to premier education institutions like IITs and IIMs and even private educational institutions. As I told you before in the first couple of slides, Infosys is one company that contributes a lot towards IIT, because there are a lot of R&D units have been there. They have been putting all those effort over there to promote certain activities. Don't think that IITs is only producing engineers or creams of the society. If it's not beyond that, there are a huge amount of research activities are there. Let me tell you one recent scenario. Somewhere in south side, there is one well. It keep on pouring into the well, and I don't know how many of you heard about the news. The water has not been filled with that. If it's keep consuming the water from the overflow dam, and where this water goes, nobody knows. What the immediate step what the people the government has taken? Call IIT. Wherever there is an issue, immediately they said call IIT people. Because IITs is not only producing engineers or research scholars, they are all doing a lot of research projects. They will come, volunteer, does the process, and finally they give a solution or give a report to the government. And it's a social activity. A huge amount of money is involved, and these are some of the companies supporting IITs and IIM to conduct this kind of research work. Not only with IIT and IIM, there are private education institutions also. Let me take in your case. I hear that Vels have a lot of research, ongoing research is going on, and there be people. Okay, people, scholars. You guys would have heard about that. There are a lot of researches happening, and there are many funding projects have been there. And it's not only for the government organization, even private institutions like Vels, they used to get funding from both the government sector as well as the private companies. So that's how the money goes to CSR. Now, having said that, we'll move on to the next one. Now, this module. I just completely divided the entire presentation for today, 45 minutes, into 3-4 modules. And the first thing we talk about the theoretical concept about CSR. What is CSR? Why it's CSR? Need for CSR? How CSR activities been conducted? All such theoretical stuff. Then I just discussed about the practical aspects, how exactly the money is being spent and why do they spend it, what is the importance of that one. That I show it in another 3-4 slides. That was second part. And the third part is very important. Here we are going to take some of the case studies, what has been happened in this corporate world, what are the companies and what they do. I'm just going to pick a few case studies and just going to share with you. Of course, case studies is an in-depth, detailed analysis process. I'm just going to take those abstract of those case studies and I'm going to give it to you. Hope you people are with me right now, because I moved on to from the second part to the third part. I'm just moving on. Any clarification, or I just want a confirmation that you guys are with me. Yeah, should I proceed, or any clarification, any doubts?
No, you carry on, sir.
Okay,
After finishing your PowerPoint, we will interact with you, sir.
Okay, sure. No, just this is just to make sure that everything goes right. That's it. Okay, thank you
Okay,
very
sir.
much.
Okay, sir.
Now, let's give me practical data of companies, the donation towards COVID-19, because that's a current thing. What's happening last 2 years? A huge amount of money has been spent. Let us take your vaccine. Everybody got 2 vaccines. Have you ever paid for that? No, you are not paid. Government is paying, but where do government get money out of from it? Thinking that government is paying by its own pocket, government has doesn't money because government don't do produce anything. They are not a business model. They are not a corporate. They don't do anything. They have to get money from other corporates where people donate. No, philanthropist companies, they donate. And here is a couple of a few industries or companies, they provided donated for this PM Care. PM Care is, I hope you all know what is a PM Care. It's what's a specific account opened for social improvement. One, so let's take some example. Yes, so Reliance Industries, as I told you, initially Reliance was so reluctant in doing this social activities. It was focused towards profit making. I'm talking about the early years. After that, they also understand the importance of industrial of social response CSR activity. They started pouring huge amount of fund towards that. 500 crores is a big amount, which was being implied into this PM CAS, MDC, LNT, ITC groups, and finally Infosys Foundation. All these people are keep pumping money towards this COVID, towards COVID issue. And that's why we are getting a lot of people doesn't need to pay anything. Suppose if a person is affected by COVID, he has been treated in a government hospital, you need not pay any single pie. Again, all these things have been pumped in from various corporates. Okay, so this is just to start with the COVID, because we people have been watching this information every day in news, so we should know where the money comes from. And this is all the CSR activities have been done somewhere, some point of time, from some companies. Now, let me take some interesting individual cases here. I hope everybody would have heard about this particular brand, Starbucks coffee. It's a coffee, no? It's basically a coffee. How much you normally pay for a coffee? Normal, as of now, we'll be paying for 12 rupees for a coffee in a normal tea shop. When you go for a hotel, you pay 20 rupees. But Starbucks, if you go to a Starbucks and want to pay a coffee, it is almost 250 rupees per coffee. Now you will wonder what is special in the 250 rupees. It's not about the special about the coffee you drink. It is about the ambience they create. It is about the environment they give. It's about the experience you get, and it is about the about the kind of a space they give you. So it is end of the day you get an experience. It's not about a cup of coffee. It is about the experience you get. For that you get 250 rupees per coffee. But remember, they have a strong CSR activity. Let me go with that one by one. This Starbucks focuses on 3 different entities on their CSR activities. One is environmental stewardship, ethical sourcing, and community. Let me go one by one. So close to every human being. Ethical sourcing, coffee purchasing, and farmer support loans. You know what? At the Starbucks, they have a policy decision. They will go purchase the coffee only from certain group, especially directly from the farmers. And they have a lot of giving back to the farmers in the sense of farmer support loan. They give just like a bank. They act like a bank for the farmers. They give loans for them farmers to do the farming and do this coffee estate maintenance, all kind of stuff. There is no intermediate over there, so that the farmers have a close they have a emotional bonding with this company. And starting with ethical, then I'll move on to this community now. They do a lot of community services. Coffee and tea growing community. In those coffee tea estate, they own certain places, or they lease it, or they get they have their own community people. They're working on it. and they support youth actions and grants for that particular community. So they're creating a community among themselves. Now I'm coming to the environmental stewardship, reduction of energy and water consumption. They have a system. They don't use much of electricity, or they don't use much of water. They used to do a lot of generation of electricity and recycling of water, no economical usage of those energies. Renewable energy they are dependent upon. The second is purchase renewable energies. They don't go and purchase energy from a coal generated energy. They only purchase renewable energy, in the sense windmill as well as solar energy. Then interesting thing, after usage of those cups, the cups were being recycled and reusable cups. And these are all some of the policy decisions they keep it, and that's why we pay 250 rupees per cup of a coffee. Still people come on go there. Of course they get an experience. It's not only, as I told you, it's not only for the cup of coffee what they drink. They kind of ambience they get, the kind of experience they get, that makes things a lot of difference. So that is how Starbucks work. I'll just give an abstract. It is a big research report. I'm just taking only the abstract and sharing with you guys. So let me move on to the next case. Here is about, okay, here I just given abstract of the entire report. Whatever things I've been talking, I just given, it was there in a data about what kind of people come over there, how they interact, how they spend money, all kind of stuff. Okay, I'll move on to the next case. Okay, here is another data. It tells you about before pandemic. And the last data I shown you about the abstract of the all the time of pandemic, especially for COVID. But here, let me give you a small comparative study. Being an account student, something like a balance sheet. I'll just tell you this year how much they invested, and this year how much they invested on this one. CSR, Reliance Industry. It is almost 9.8 crore in 1920 and 1819. They've been there at 850 crore. TCS 602 crore from 586 crore the previous year. Infosys is an interesting thing. They just spent 359. That means almost 360 crore. And when compared to the 1819, they have spent 342 crore. IDC again. IDC every if you see this see this comparative, you see every company. It's not that last year we spent, this year we don't want to spend. Every company, year by year, they increase the amount what they spent on CSR activity. That's what I'm trying to give you. 1819 and 1920, you can really go with this data. Every company are in urge to increase the share on the CSR activities. So it's not that last year we spent this year we don't want to spend. No, it's not that kind of everything. Want to increase the share on the spending. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. Now, almost we come to the last one. Instead of before we coming to the last module for today's session, I'll just sum up certain observations. Whatever things have been done so far in this corporate sector when they're spending money on this CSR activities. The following are some of the observations. More than half of top 50 BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, 250 companies. Out of 250 companies, top 50 companies have their own foundation or trust. It's not that simply giving money. They have their own trust and their own foundation. As I told you before, Tata Sons, Infosys, Azim Prem, Wipro's Azim Premji, quite a lot of companies, they have their own foundations. While inclusive growth is a broader goal, companies making contributions to IITs, IIMs, etc. Interestingly, contributions are also being made to private companies. Like Wipro had made a contribution to Bokara Power Corporation Limited under the heading of energy. So that's interesting. No, it's not the private company. Private company comes and contribute to the power sector. It looks like a CSR expenditure of the bigger corporation is being allocated in alignment with their strategic business interest, like Wipro and Infosys have made substantial contribution towards IT skill training. Mahindra and Mahindra towards a vocational skill related to automobile to social enterprises like LaborNet and Unilever towards a Shakti woman entrepreneur. The transparency levels were low, especially in certain cases where bulk of allocation was made to a foundation. In such case, a detailed list of activities undertaken by such foundation was not provided. This is all kind of a summary what I do. Of course, I have a couple of examples. I have a reserved here. I'm not going to discuss now. I'm going to introduce those cases on our QA session. So, having said that, I just come to the end of the point. Now, the question now here's this is almost a hint. No, this is I just summarized it, but still it's not over. So, what do you want to being a responsible? Immediately being a student, I just want to come to students. No? To coming to students of first year, second year, you people might think, no, okay, CSR is only for corporates. No, being responsible, it's not only to be in a corporate. You need not be in corporate. So, without being a corporate, can I have the social responsible? Yes. I just going to give a couple of interesting examples. Need not be in corporate. So, corporate CSR need not always be in corporate. Your social responsibility makes a lot of difference. How many of you heard about this one? This foundation, it's not a corporate, and they are not a manufacturing or a service company. Guys, this is for you to think over. To be a social responsible or doing a CSR, you need not be a corporate person. You can be an individual. Still, somewhere some individuals have been taking the initiatives and understand one thing. It's about social response, not only corporates. Every individual have their own social response. Now I just want to show you a small picture. I just want things to be open. I want people to unmute yourself. Can you able to see the picture and what comes to your mind? I just want to stop over here before I formally wind up. I just want to stop over here and give the mics to every the student after seeing this picture. Guys, can anyone tell me? Sir, please allow students to talk. Anyone to me, even the research scholars. I prefer first year students. If I'm seeing the picture, what comes to your mind? Sir, HOD sir, please allow anyone can respond.
Dear
Anyone
students,
Yeah.
if you have any clarification, you can ask our resource person.
We'll have the clarification part. Now, this is just to get a feedback. I just shown you a picture over here. What
Sir,
comes to you?
sir,
Yes.
I am Dr. Chandran speaking,
Yes,
HOD,
sir. Yes, sir.
Department of Commerce. I am speaking, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you have given a wonderful PowerPoint presentation. In practically, you are saying you are giving the
Hello, sir.
presentation.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
in your presentations, you
Sir.
are giving the ethical responsibility, legal responsibility, economic responsibility. You are all giving. You are
Okay.
giving the elaborately.
Okay.
Here, I wish to interact with you in connection with the economic responsibilities of the corporate.
Okay.
What are the economic responsibilities of the corporate, sir?
See, sir,
What are the economic?
no, we will discuss it once this presentation is not over. We have a couple of slides to go. We will have a deeper discussion about that. It's a wonderful thing. It has to be addressed. No, before that, the question is over here. I just shown you a picture of it. This is something a recent picture. I just want someone to throw lights about it or throws their own idea about what exactly it is. What exactly the picture depicts.
Sir, myself is an individual, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, yeah, I'm doing a corporate, doing a PhD on this topic only.
Yes.
Actually, this picture gives it's a disgusting thing. Actually, each one must be responsible to the society, sir. Just like throwing
Wonderful, ma.
Throwing back.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So let me give you one thing. The idea behind is I hope every youngsters now, every youth now, they are having that kind of responsibility and the kind of an awareness. Today we have been stuck up in the last range. We have been stuck up very badly, and we are blaming each other, and we are blaming government, and government is blaming companies. Company corporates are not that responsible. They are using too much of too much of polluted things and then throwing it off. All these things are over, okay, but beyond that, this is a case where the case tells is it beyond corporate. It is the individual who are responsible. If you are not responsible, any number of corporates, whoever comes over there, there's no point in doing it. I hope you understand. Now, so who is responsible? The responsibility starts from me, individual. Every individual, you be responsible. It's a micro to macro. Responsibility, we have been shifting from micro to macro. Macro, when I say micro, it is about the individual. When I say macro, it's that micro level consolidated goes to the macro. We call it as a corporate responsibility. Okay, so thanks a lot. We will discuss it later. Now, having said that, I'm just coming to an end. Before I go for QA, so it becomes as a social responsible citizens. Let us all be a socially responsible citizen. Corporate automatically comes and helps you people. Okay, thanks a lot for wonderful opportunity. Now I come to the question part. Sir has raised an interesting question about the economical responsibility of the corporates. Okay, now this is a very, very interesting question. Every corporate plays an important economical responsibility. There are in two different ways. One is direct economical responsibility, other one is indirect economical responsibility. First, since we always want something from the corporates directly, we want as a direct economical benefits towards the society. So here the direct economical benefit responsible of this corporate is, let me give an example. Once this things have been announced, once the new government has came to function from the last years, the new government has come in immediately. Chief Minister has been opened. Yeah, I'm audible or what? Sir, this is for your question. Once the new government forms, Chief Minister had requested all corporates. When I say corporate, it is not only from the manufacturing sector, even the educational sectors. They given an initiative to fund to take care of this COVID issues and the expenses. They opened open request for every institutions and the companies to come and contribute. Every institution, including Vels, every institution that directly go and given their contribution to that. That is an direct economic responses which supports, which takes the responsible from the share the responsibility of the government. That's one thing. Number two, there are indirect economic responses are there in the sense creating more jobs. Say, for example, I in one of my slide I mentioned about the Mahindra and Mahindra company. They have a skill development center. It is an indirect economic responsible. That means you create more skilled labors at free of cost. That's important, no? At free of cost, so that they can survive, they can sustain, they can have their own livelihood. Number two, there are some organization indirectly they create a lot of jobs. Let me take an example over here. Amazon. I heard, how many of you heard about Amazon? Amazon, they have their what do you call warehouse somewhere near Puneri. You know what? They can do it using robotic. All the packaging things they can do it as robotic, but still they have certain responsibility. What they did is they generated huge amount of job opportunities for the people in and around that particular area, Poneri, Tirthani, and Tiruvallur district. They created a lot of job opportunities. Even let me tell you, there are few arts and science colleges are there. The Amazon bus comes to the college, picks the students after the shift is over, goes to the warehouse. They make use of those people to complete the job, and then they send back to the college campus. So this is some kind of indirect, and there is no specific definition for this is how they have to do it. In any way, whether direct responsible, something like give a supporting the government's initiative, or indirectly you can increase the lifestyle or livelihood of the citizen and people. That's also good. I hope I got I answered your question, sir.
Sir, another one question, sir, from my side.
Yes, sir.
Sir, corporate social responsibility can improve the customer's perception
Yes, sir.
of brand.
Yes.
Corporate social responsibility can improve the customer's perceptions of brand.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct, sir?
Yes, yes, sir.
How, sir?
Even the presentation, I don't know whether you observed it. We mentioned, I take one particular example, sir. Tata Sons. I picked the
Yes,
example.
yes.
The Tata Sons is one company which has reached the customer, and you got the trust of that company only because of their CSR activities.
Oh.
When opportunity comes to apply for a Tata, and I just given the same example, no, sir. When you want to come and apply in a job for a people who entry level job for a Tata as well as for a Reliance, people prefer Tata. You know why? The kind of the bonding they created based upon the CSR what they've done earlier all these years. Similarly,
Sir,
not
another.
only for the job opportunity, for even suppose you want to buy a product, you will rely more on the Tata product than any other product.
Okay, sir.
I
Sir,
hope you
another
got
one,
it.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Another one, sir. Sir, corporate social responsibility attract and retain the employees.
Yes, sir. True. Again, the
Which,
same example. I give the same organization example, Tata. People won't leave Tata just like that, just not for an or 1,000 or 2,000 rupees increment for any other company. Take any Tata group of companies, people just like that, they don't leave. If you see, almost 90 to 92-3% of people who join, they get they finish their tenure as an retirement, only they come out.
Okay, sir. Thank
Even
you, sir.
though they
Thank you
have
very much.
huge opportunity abroad, if they have huge opportunity to the competitive companies, people won't go there. The kind of trust they have, the kind of the bonding they have.
Right. Any other question?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes.
This is Shirley.
Yeah, please hold 1 second. Let me have a small cup of water and just come back.
Yes, anybody, students?
Sir.
Ah.
Good morning, sir. This is Shirley, Assistant Professor, BCom A&F. Is there is any tax deduction for CSR in India, sir?
Yeah, I'm audible or not?
Yes,
Sir. Yes, sir.
I think my camera doesn't turn on. Okay, anyway, I'll just move on. Yes, ma. Yes, definitely, ma. There are huge. In fact, most companies, whether they like it or not, they go for a CSR. They take as a CSR. The part of our thing is they have a lot of tax reduction and benefits. They are getting a lot of benefits from the government side. Yes, true. That is one reason people, even though they don't want to go for CSR, they take it for that. And government gives those kind of benefit only to promote CSR from this corporate side.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Students, you if you want to ask any clarification, you can ask our resource
Please,
person.
especially for the first year student, because you have a lot of things in your mind, because it's a new to higher education people and the scholars, you will have some interesting and specific questions because you do a lot of research on this particular area. And as I told you, CSR is one domain, you have a lot of potential to do research on that one. Because it's
So
not
my
that it is a dynamic role. It's not that CSR 2 decades before is something completely different with the CSR now.
sir,
Okay, I got a message. Someone can read out the message if I'm on.
Sir, yes, good afternoon.
Okay, let me read otherwise.
Yeah.
Someone has given a message. Sir, this is the beginning of the class. You said about the sustainable development. How CSR were able to do their role as perfectly in the pandemic, and how CSR can ensure whether the welfare source reaches the people properly. That's an interesting. That's a two part of the question. I'll just pick it up. Who's this? Jeevit. Okay. First thing is about you want to see how CSR done. Can you able to unmute your mic so that I can get you correctly what you want to say?
Yeah, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sir.
Jeevit.
Sir, sir, actually, in the beginning of the class, you said about that sustainable development, sir.
Yes.
Uh, Sir, in the pandemic, how these CSR are able to achieve this sustainable development, and how they can ensure that these sources and benefits reach the people properly? Because
Yeah, that is two.
these,
Fine. That wonderful question. That's a part of the question. The second part I will address first. To be very frank, it's very difficult to track the amount what you give for a PM care or some for the government, the state government fund. When you contribute the money, you cannot go and ask and accounts for them how it has been spent. So you don't have any role. So, but government takes its own stand on spending the money, and of course, at the end of the thing, they used to give a public auditing and public report on it. But again, you cannot go and ask anything whether how to spend and how to whether it is reached it properly or not. That's one issue over there by depending upon the agencies. It's very difficult, but that is why most of the organization what you do instead of making a new agency, they have their own foundation and they run the foundation transparently, and then they know how to control it and how to progress it. So that is one thing where goes to a public fund, you don't have any control over it. Now coming to this first question, sustainable development. I don't know whether in what perspective said about the sustainable development of the company or the sustainable development in the pandemic situation. Which one you are? Which perspective you have been asking? Yes, Jeevit, please.
sir, the perspective according to the firm, sir.
According to the
According to the firm.
According to the company, okay. Say, for example,
Yeah, sir.
you mean to say Infosys has given a CSR activity, and in this pandemic, how they sustain, right? That's what you wanted to say.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Fine. See, listen here, people, companies like big companies, they have something called a corporate fund. Where they have their corpus fund, which is exclusively allocated for the CSR, and those money will be automatically will be generated and coming. It's not that they're spending out of their income. It has already been generated, and then that will be keep flowing into their account there. So it's no wonder, nothing will affect that one, because it was perfectly funded. That is how the trust is normally meant. When the foundation or trust is made, the trust, they have to deposit some huge amount on that one. Then only they will be allowed to do this process. So it is not about like monthly getting your monthly income. From that monthly income I'm going to spend. It's not that. They already created a corpus amount, and from that it's going to spend whatever the pandemic. Even maybe for the next 10 years they would have a roadmap for generating the money for CSR. Not because of pandemic they don't get income and they cannot spend the money. That's not the case. David, I hope you
Okay,
got
sir.
it.
I understand.
Now,
Yeah,
Pooja,
sir.
can you able to come and tell me what exactly in India does every corporate company following CSR? An interesting question, because see, let me tell you in your own way whether you can people understand. Uh, by rule, by virtue, every corporate should have a kind of CSR. Okay, but what you are trying to say is every government comes to the power, they are going to serve the society. Now, I'm just asking posing the question again. For every government, they are supposed to come and serve the society. Are they every government doing that? The question, the answer is the same. Some people, some corporate take it as an part of their job. Some corporate, they take the CSR for the name of doing business, because unless they cannot do business, they cannot do the process. As someone mentioned about the tax benefit, there are major companies are doing the CSR only to avail the tax benefit. I'm talking the practical aspect of you, but there are a lot of exceptions. Those things, those companies are runaway companies. There are a lot of companies. Maybe you would have heard about one company 10 years back. Now you cannot hear. You won't be able to hear about those kind of a company. I'm talking about big companies. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Maybe there are some people there with 2-3 decades of experience. How many of you heard about the name called NIT? Maybe people with in their late 40s and 50s, you can heard about the company called NIT, SSI. Brilliant tutorials. Where are all these people? They have been doing a lot of corporate activities, but over the period of time, they themselves cannot sustain. Automatically, things have gone down. So it is necessary they have to do, but it's not that everybody does it as a service. And I hope Pooja, you got it. Passing. If alcohol and cigarette making companies does CSR means, will the image on public will be good? This is interesting and a social responsible question here. I'll take this as one of this question becomes as a most social responsible question. People who produce alcohol and cigarettes, which they, in spite of giving a tagline as injurious to health, if they give social responsible, whether it's considered to be social responsible. Today we talk in the terms of alcohol and what do you call this cigarettes company considered to be a corporate. Just travel back to 20-30 years back. Every town and village, there will be some wine shops will be there, arak shops will be there, and all these shop owners will be the head of that particular locality. And you know what they do? For any temple functions, they are the one person who are going to spend on those functions, and they are considered to be the godmans of that particular area. Now it has converted into corporate. Now the question goes back: can we accept those persons' contribution to the betterment of the society? Now listen here, whether it is arak or cigarette doesn't matter. When it's a corporate, for them it's a business. It's not their responsibility. They are not asking you to come and drink. For them it's a business. You as a management student, as a commerce student, what you have to see is you have to consider that a business. Even when you go for a small taskmark shop, you can see accounting process will be there. You can see stocking will be there. You can see HR will be there. As a management student, as a commerce student, you have to see that thing as a business entity alone. If you are taking it as a social responsibility, then you have to go and change the people who come over there in the early morning, stand in the queue, waiting for a quarter bottle, and they're going back with a happiness. No, unless and otherwise these people are there, you cannot change this one. And this is again the concept of demand supply phenomena. Maybe you will be learning it at a later stage. Where you want to go for a supply, whenever there is a demand, you go for a supply. And when the demand rises, supply rises. When the demand comes down, automatically your supply will also come down. And there is no demand, automatically the supply will also stop. So you have to see, as a management or commerce student, you have to see in that terms. If you are being as a social responsible person, you are not going to focus on the company. Instead of that, you have to point about the public of the consumers. Unless and otherwise you change the consumers, these people are hardly a business people. If you ask for cigarettes, they will produce cigarettes, and if you ask for agarbatti, they are going to produce agarbatti. And who asks what they are going to produce? That's a business entity. I hope you should not mix up both the things. I hope you people got it. I got a couple of more questions over here. Can anyone? It's too small to read me. Priyadarshini, can you able to come on, read out your question here? Are there any alternative to use in order to expand a corporate company instead of CSR with a few less expenses? No, I don't get you. Priyadarshini, can you able to explain your question?
Sir, actually, I'm asking whether are there any different types of alternatives except that of CSR to be incorporated in a corporate company so that I can expand my
No.
corporate.
I don't know whether I got your question correct. You mean to say only the corporate should do the CSR, right? Or no? Or any other extensions are there?
Yeah, corporate companies.
Typically, I just in my last slide I shown you about the Surya Sagram Foundation. They are not corporates, right?
Yeah.
So and then the last slide where he said that if you want to be social responsible, you be an individual. You do your take your social responsibility as an individual person. Automatically, the things will follow. You need not worry about the corporates. When individually, every individual, you take the responsibility, there is no need of thinking about the big corporates coming and taking care of you. First, you have to take care of yourself. And automatically, society comes next and the country comes later. And who's that? Bushra. Okay, Bushra, can you?
Thank you for your answer, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else? Who's that? Bushra. Can you read out the question, ma? Okay. Many corporates are today focusing on social service, like providing
Sir,
assistance.
am I audible?
Yes. Okay. Carry on, Bushra, please.
Hello.
Yeah. Please.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me.
I was saying that, sir, I'm research scholar at Delhi University. I'm
Okay.
pursuing my research in green social work with the corporate sector responsibility and sustainable development. So
Okay.
my question was, since the corporates are majorly focusing on the social sector, like development of schools, building
Hmm.
health campaigns, and for the adolescent girls, they are doing many of the works, but
Okay.
particularly when get insight into the environmental aspects of the corporate. Sir, I wanted you to please give an insight into the environmental aspects where corporates are playing a huge role.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
good. Thanks, Kushrat. Thanks for the question. I'll give you a specific examples over here. I don't know. People are there in Chennai. They can in Chennai there is a Infosys campus are there. I don't know how many of you have seen this Infosys campus in OMR. Where towards Kelambakam there is an Infosys campus over there, and just opposite to the Infosys campus there was an abandoned lake has been there for a very long time. Infosys has adopted that lake for 4 5 years back, and they reconstructed it, and they re no invented it. Rather, they created all those environmental aspects on that. Now the lake was beautifully maintained, and this flood season, the lake played an important role in balancing the overflow from the nearby areas. So there are a lot of things as happening. A lot of things. There are some companies adopting a village. There are few companies creating forest. Things were happening. Only thing is, it is certain things are visible and certain things are not been so much advertised. As I told in the beginning itself, there are only certain things has been publicized. There are a lot of other things. When it comes to environmental, there are a lot of organizations doing it. And see, I can tell you, give an example. Tesla is a big car company, and they have their own corporate responsibility on environmental issues, and they take that as a business opportunity, and they came out with electric cars. Today, Ola is a company. Now they created this electric scooters. Of course, it is a business model, but still there is a lot of environmental responsibility are there in that model. I hope you got it. There are a lot of things that are happening.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Anybody over here?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Myself,
sir.
the
I'm
individual here.
Saina.
Yeah. Can anyone? Who's this?
Yes, I
Induja.
am Saina.
Induja.
Professor.
Karpuswamy, huh?
Induja.
Induja. Okay. Please,
So,
Induja.
small doubts. Which companies that qualify for CSR in India?
No, I don't get it. Which company?
that are qualified for CSR in India?
Every company, when you start, you are supposed to go for it's not that it's not like a qualifying thing. If you want to be a company, you get into corporate, when I say corporate, that means you have basic norms to get into the corporate criteria. And one basic norm is you have to show your CSR activity over there.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a wonderful
Good afternoon.
presentation. I'm Dr. Thayalnahi from Department of Commerce, Professor.
Yes, madam.
Here you clearly explain the various aspects of corporate social responsibility towards the company as well as the investors, customers, as well as society. Here, different aspects you are explain about the contribution of the CSR towards the society. Here, I observed that various questions raised by the students as well as the scholar. One of the gap I had a doubt. They are not clear about that contribution. Okay, very good statistical presentation is given by you. They may be missed out. That's what the last question asked about which company is applicable. Every company has to be is responsible towards the society. So clearly it will be explained by this sir. I had one doubt, sir. Here
Yes,
the
madam.
contribution, donation, everything will be okay. One of our faculty members asked about the tax deduction. Very fantastic question. Tax deduction is also literally we known about that. This is the some percentage may be allowed as a deduction. But here I would like to register to the all how much of percentage of amount maybe is take it as a contribution towards the society. Any principles or any percentage out of the profit? First of all, I think that I understood from your lecture throughout the session, out of the profit only that a percentage of contribution is given. Any percentage is a minimum is given, then only they are able to contribute it. Because you given an example, Tata and so on, Tata Birla, they have a lot of a profit, then okay. If I am a small, if it is on behalf of our student only, I ask this question. If I am a very small entrepreneur, any restriction or any percentage of profit may be is contributed as a corporate social responsibility, sir?
Okay, I'll put it in a lighter way, madam.
Okay.
ஏதாவது தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா நான் எவ்வளவு செஞ்சா தர்மம் செஞ்சா எனக்கு புண்ணியம் கிடைக்கும்னு கேக்குறீங்க.
அதாவது வந்து தர்மம் நம்மளால முடிஞ்ச அளவு செய்ய முடியும். பட் கார்ப்பரேட் அப்படின்னு வரும்போது தே ஹவ் டு மெயின்டைன். இப்போ மேடம் கடைசியா கொஸ்டின் கேட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் எனக்கு அந்த டவுட் வந்தது. இப்ப நிறைய நம்ம வந்து செய்யணும், கொஞ்சமா செய்யணுங்கிறது நம்ம கையில இருக்கிறது தான். அதுக்கு ஏதாவது வந்து ஒரு பர்சன்டேஜ் ஆஃப் ப்ராஃபிட் தரணும் அப்படின்னு ஏதாவது ஒரு பர்சன்டேஜ் அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது லீகல் என்டிட்டி இருக்குங்களா சார்?
இது வந்து மேடம் நல்லா புரிஞ்சுங்க. இந்த சிஎஸ்ஆர் ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸே வந்து இட் இஸ் சிஎஸ்ஆர்ன்றதே வந்து உங்களுடைய விருப்பத்துக்கு நீங்க செய்யற விஷயம்.
ஓகே.
தேர் இஸ் நோ லைக் இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் மாதிரி நார்ம்ஸ் எல்லாம் கிடையாது. நீங்க நிறைய செஞ்சீங்கன்னா, அதாவது நீங்க நிறைய செஞ்சு நிறைய பேர் ஏன் செய்யறாங்கன்னா நிறைய செய்யும் போதோ உங்களுக்கு நிறைய டாக்ஸ் பெனிஃபிட் கிடைக்குது.
ஓகே.
இப்போ உங்களே வந்து நம்ம மந்த்லி சேலரியை வச்சு உங்களுக்கு இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் பண்றாங்க. அதே இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் என்ன பண்றாங்க, அதை வந்து கம்மி பண்றதுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவோம், எல்ஐசின்னு போவோம், ஹவுசிங் போவோம். நீங்க நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நீங்க செய்ய உங்களுக்கு டாக்ஸ் பெனிஃபிட் வருது இல்லையா? சிமிலர்லி இன் கார்பரேட் லெவல் போகும்போதோ அவங்களுக்கு நிறைய இன்கம் வரும். எல்லா இன்கமுக்கும் இட்ஸ் டாக்ஸபிள். அப்போ என்ன ஆகும், இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் பேயிங் அஸ் அ டாக்ஸ் தே வில் put a consider amount on the CSR activities. But CSR activities போடும்போது என்ன பண்ணாக்கா டாக்ஸ் பெனிஃபிட் மட்டும் கிடையாது, அவங்களுக்கு அந்த பிராண்ட் பில்டிங் ப்ராசஸ் நடக்குது இல்லையா? தட் இஸ் a two-way benefit. One thing. Second thing is CSR நான் பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்படின்ற விட முடியாது. நீங்க சொல்றது ஒரு வேலிட் பாயிண்ட். But I cannot give you the exact slab over here because government has very clearly mentioned that the CSR பண்ணா கூட ஒரு ஸ்டேஜுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க எல்லாத்தையும் CSR காமிச்சிட்டா அதை வந்து நாங்க கொடுத்துட மாட்டோம், பெனிஃபிட் கொடுத்துட மாட்டோம். Again they have kind of a ceiling. அப்ப என்ன பண்றாங்க, then this auditors comes in the picture. அதுலயே என்ன பண்றாங்க, சிஎஸ்ஆர்லயே நீ இந்த செக்டருக்கு மட்டும் பண்ணாத, எக்கனாமிக் என்விரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு பண்ணு, என்விரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு, அப்புறம் வந்து விமன் எம்பவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு தனித்தனியா செக்டர் காமிச்சு அதே சிஎஸ்ஆர் ஆக்டிவிட்டி தனித்தனியா போகுது. ஸோ எல்லாத்துக்குமே ஒரு ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன் ஒன்று உண்டா, உடனே ஆடிட்டர் கம்ஸ் ஓவர் தேர் and they give all kind of illegal advices to make sure that you don't pay to government. Instead of that you go to pay to the directly you can do the CSR. But understand even the government நீங்க கொடுக்கிற டாக்ஸே CSR தான் மேடம். அதை நிறைய பேர் புரிஞ்சுக்க மாட்டேன்றாங்க. இன்னும் கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுத்தா மோடி பாக்கெட்ல போட்டு போறாரோன்ற ஒரு மைண்ட்ல இருக்காங்க. See, even paying tax for an individual, it's an individual's social responsibility. அதை ஏமாத்திட்டு நான் தர்மம் நான் தனியா பண்ணிக்கிறேன்னா, it's again there is some kind of hidden agenda for that. I hope you people got it.
Yes, sir. Directly, definitely, sir. It will be very easy to understood. சின்ன லெவல்ல கம்பெனியா இருந்தாலும் பெரிய லெவல் கம்பெனியா இருந்தாலும் எல்லா கம்பெனியும் கார்ப்பரேட் சோஷியல் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி அந்த வேல்யூ படி ஒரு கான்ட்ரிபியூஷன் சொசைட்டிக்கு தரணும்.
I want to add something. In the pandemic situations நம்ம எல்லா வீட்ல அடங்கிட்டோம். நீங்க வெளியில வாக்கிங் போகும்போது பார்க்கலாம், அங்கே ஒரு ஓரமா உட்காந்துக்கிற ஒரு பிச்சைக்காரன் 4 பிஸ்கெட் வாங்கி 2 பிஸ்கெட் பக்கத்துல இருக்கிற நாய்க்கு கொடுப்பான். நம்ம எல்லாம் நம்மளை பத்தி தான் நினைச்சுமே தவிர அந்த நாய்க்கு பத்தி அவன் அது எங்க போய் பேண்டமிக்ல அது எங்க போய் ஊசி போட்டுவங்க நடத்துன்னு இருக்கும், அதை பத்தி யாருமே நினைக்கல. பட் அந்த மனசு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அந்த சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா தமிழ்ல, அந்த மனசுதான் தெய்வம் இல்லையா, அது பிச்சைக்காரனு கூட இருக்கு. It's about the the giving attitude. That's it. Sure. Automatically, when you become big, automatically you become as a corporate, and then the responsibility continues. Whether it is a corporate or not, responsibility is important. That is what I gave you. Your responsibility should start from you. Adula irundhu, whether big or small, big amount or small amount, it doesn't matter. Everything goes back to the society.
ஏதோ ஒரு ஃபார்முலா கம்பெனி தரணும். Thank you so much for your brief explanation, sir. Thank you.
Now I call upon Professor Dr. G.S. to deliver the thanks.
Good afternoon to all. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all dignitaries on behalf of Commerce Department. I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to our honorable chief guest, Dr.C.V.Suresh Babu, to taking out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. Today's webinar was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insights into the topic and also revealed some interesting facts. Dr. C.V.Suresh Babu has clearly explained various views of social responsibility in business and the current scenario in CSR which relates to COVID-19, and he is also explained activities in types like ethical responsibility and legal responsibility. It is very useful to the student to given the practical exposure of Starbucks and Agram Foundation. So today's webinar was full of knowledge and interesting things, sir. A special thanks to our management for providing immense support to make this webinar successful. I extend my gratitude to Dr. M. Chandran, head of the department, and I must thank all the faculty members, participants, and make this webinar successful. Thank you everyone once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. We will meet sometime directly. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr.